Good evening, non-existent viewers. I'm here with Anna tonight, and we just got back from seeing Men, the latest horror film directed by Alex Garland, who also directed Ex Machina and Annihilation.
Yes.
It's from the studio A24, and it stars Jessie Buckley, who plays this character who is recently divorced, and her husband, jumped out of a building, so she goes to this mansion in the English countryside to kind of just heal and just take some time
get over the trauma of seeing him die.
And then a lot of very messed up things happen from there.
Lots of messed up things.
With paranormal stuff and demonic stuff, and just as the title suggests, there's a lot of male creeps that are out to get her. So Anna, what were your expectations going into Men?
I didn't really have many because you told me it was a horror film, and I actually had no idea what it was about. But when I saw the beginning and all these nature shots, it very much reminded me of the filmography by Hereditary, and the camera, the long zooms and stuff like that, and the really brilliant colors. And it was a very slow crawl at first, and I feel like it was a slow crawl until the last 10 minutes. I feel like you didn't even really know what was going on most of the movie. You were just kind of had this vague sense of dread that something was going on. And the something that was going on happened, but it wasn't really, they didn't come out and tell you, oh, the town is possessed by ghosts or whatever. You kind of have to, infer it. Infer for yourself what happened.
Yeah, A24 has a knack for this, because I saw X back in February, and that film also had a lot of motifs going on, where it's okay, yeah, there's blood, there's violence, there's murder, there's nudity, there's sex, all of their R-rated goodiness, but it's not brainless of that. There's something lying under the surface, which understandably isn't working for some people, because we looked at the Rotten Tomatoes score before filming this.
Yeah, some people didn't like this movie.
A lot of people didn't like this movie. The critics didn't like it, but it's not so much. And Alex Garland, this is kind of his thing. He really likes his visuals.
He loves visuals.
I haven't seen Ex Machina yet, but I did see Annihilation.
It's a gorgeous movie on just a visual level.
And this film was gorgeous too on a visual level as well. The cinematography, the soundtrack was really eerie.
The soundtrack very much reminded me of Hereditary. That's the exact kind of soundtrack that comes to mind when I think of it. So, lots of vocals.
We also saw the trailer for Bodies when we were waiting to see this film, and I think this is just A24's year. They're kind of just shoving out as many really creepy movies as possible. And honestly, I'm on board with that, because I think Jessie Buckley's performance was really top notch. I sympathized with her. I understand the pain that she is going through, the pain that she's dealing with at the moment, with all these stalkers and this there's just so much creepy imagery in this film, and I feel A24, there's always some kind of underlying visual metaphor, whether it be for abuse.
Always.
There's always some kind of inspiration from various folklore demonology they try to touch base on, because Hereditary is definitely into that.
They always do their research into the supernatural things they're portraying. They're never just some random ghost. They've got to be something. The
one issue I did have with this film is it's a slow burner, and there's some scenes where it tries to be scary. It kind of goes back and forth between creeping us out and going under our skins, and just making us laugh, because what's going on the screen is just
it's goofy.
It's so ridiculous. One scene in particular, I'm not gonna mention the scene in particular because it's spoilers. I was oh my gosh, it just happened. Then a second I was oh wait, it subverted my expectations, and I just started chuckling.
Yeah, it's almost it tries to weird you out and creep you out and gross you out, mostly so much that it comes off as goofy, which is unfortunate, because I was laughing at the climax of the film.
This movie's an hour and 40 minutes, and I feel some scenes went by slower than others, and it's and then it went slow again, and then it went slow again. Yeah, that's exactly.
It was little bursts of plot.
Yeah, and the ending, again, without spoiling it, is extremely disturbing. And then the movie just ends on this note where it's what
happened?
What on earth am I looking at? Is there a post-credit scene? Should we have stuck around for the credits? We left I want to say a third or half of the way through the credits.
I don't think there was a post-credit scene. There usually isn't with horror movies.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't Marvel. This isn't Sonic.
But yeah, I definitely got that vibe at the end. And it also felt like the climax, they had one scary thing going for them, one creepy thing, and they kept doing it over and over and over, and it just was like, okay, yeah, that was pretty awful the first time he showed it to me. Okay, it's not starting to, like, at least for me, like, the third or fourth time it happened, it just, like, didn't affect me anymore. I was laughing at it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you go to a comedy show and the comedian is just like, the comedian on stage is like trying to use the same joke over and over again to audience, and like maybe it'll be funny the second or third or fourth time I tell it, but it's just not. It's not
doesn't land.
Funny. Yeah, this film had those moments, but overall, men did have a goal, and like all A24 films, yes, it's like a horror film. There's blood. There's a lot of really disturbing imagery.
Yeah.
But it's not brainless about it. It wants you to feel a certain way. It wants you to think and really pay close attention to what's going on screen, because that's where what drives the plot forward is the suspense. And this film, just like X and just like Hereditary, it did succeed in doing that.
Yeah, I think it wanted to take itself as serious as those movies too, but it came up a little goofier. But I don't think it was a bad movie. I think it was an honest attempt. I think it's not. I think the critics are being really harsh.
Yeah.
When they're saying don't go see it, it's not worth your money, because
it's unique. It is unique.
Yeah, and for what it is, and for being a film in the horror genre, which we shouldn't expect less of horror films, but it's pretty decent. And for certain kind of people, I think it will really affect you. It's just I'm a horror movie enthusiast, and I watch all sorts of weird, obscure junk. So for me, it was a little goofy, but I feel other people would be really freaked out by it.
By the way, I said this in the movie theater, and I'll say it again here, like, if we celebrate Halloween together again this October, like, I should get, like, a DVD copy of X and show it to you, and whoever else is joining us tonight. Well, I think that's all we gotta say about Men without spoiling it. Alright, well, so, and I think this is your first time on my movie reviews. I use the 0 to 10 scale when rating movies. Like, a 9 out of 10 is you love it, and a 10 out of 10 is, like, film freaking 10 out of 10 tastic masterpiece, like, movie of the year. A 5 out of 10 is like, meh, it's okay. A 1 or a 2 out of 10 is you hated it, and a 0 out of 10 is honey, where's the bleach?
Okay. Why don't you go first, because I'm thinking...
I'm going for a 7 out of 10 stars. But, I like this movie, not as much as X, but, it came out earlier this year, but honestly, A24 is 2 for 2 this year, and I'm excited to see what they do next.
I feel like I can agree with that, yeah, because I would watch it again, but I don't know if I go to the theater again to watch it. I might watch it on a streaming service or something like that.
Yeah, I very, 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 very rarely see movies a second time in theaters, mostly because nobody likes here in 23. I got a penny pension, and I gotta move out the end of the summer, so I gotta watch my spending, which is why we went to see this movie on Tuesday for Discount Tuesday. And I also want to apologize to you guys for lack of uploads in the past week and a half. I worked my first 50-hour work week last week, and just had a lot of things going on. Not making excuses, just offering explanations. And also I've been kind of working on some other personal goals outside of YouTube. So once that's achieved, I'm gonna make a video talking about that pretty soon. So yeah, thank you for watching, and thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, you guys have a nice night. Stay beastly.